Fulham are flying high this season, 9th in the Premier League at the time of recording. A solid campaign, no doubt, but I think we can take them even higher. Welcome to my 10-year Football Manager 24 rebuild, where we're going to turn Fulham into serial winners. We're talking league titles, European glory, the full works. And leading the charge, we're going to be attempting to bring in Morgan Gibbs-White. He's going to be the heartbeat of this squad and the man I'm building it all around. Fun fact before we dive in, Fulham are the oldest professional football club in London, so it's about time they had a trophy cabinet to match that legacy. Let's get into this rebuild. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. As always, you can go and get this rebuild and all of my tactics on the Patreon page in the link below, and there's still time to get 20% off. Let's get into it. Then this is going to be Fulham inside of Football Manager. Now, of course, they are a really big team in London, and they are a team that might not get the credit they deserve. Now, I'm a big fan of their current manager, but today we're going to come in and sort of take control of things and try and just push them up the league table that step further, although he is doing a great job. Now, in terms of reputation, we are working with 3.5 stars. We're working with great training facilities, great youth facilities, and also really strong youth recruitment. The bank balance coming in at around 80 million. The owners love the club, and the finances are really strong. Now, as a club, we have won 3 Sky Bet championships, 1 Sky Bet League 1, and a couple of other trophies right there. We had a real big dip as a club here, sort of ranging from the 11-12 season at our lowest there. You can see 14-15, and at the moment we are on a slow incline, but of course we are going to try and sort that out today and go from slow to absolutely rapid. Now, in terms of the money, if you are playing back home, you would have had a budget of around about 35 million. For me, I don't sign players in the first window in the sort of normal rebuilds. Unless we do a challenge rebuild, then we very rarely make a signing. The debts and loans, we've only got 45 million in the transfer debt, which I imagine will probably take care of itself, considering we're going to make no transfers this window and hopefully get some money back into the club. When it comes actually to the tactic, we are going to be using a Marco Silva tactic, and the one thing that I might change off the bat is to actually bring in an advanced forward sort of player, because I do like the pressing forward in this game, but I've noticed with this tactic sometimes you lack a few goals. Play in this role, get the advanced forward in, we can really feed him in behind if we get the right candidate. Now, of course, I did talk about a certain player that I want in this team. That is going to be none other than Morgan Gibbs-White. I'm a real big fan of him in real life, and he's 23, so he's a perfect candidate to come into this team. And honestly, I think a bit of a realistic signing. He wouldn't go in real life, but I mean, in terms of like a player that we can go and actually get, probably is going to be somebody like him, and his price tag isn't too much either, so we will try and make that happen next window. But for now, we've still got a very good squad. When you look at this team, obviously you've got a few ex-Arsenal players, you've got a couple of United players in here, but I mean the main player that I really like is Smith Rowe. Now, the idea between having him and Gibbs-White, they actually work together quite well, because they both can play in midfield and also attacking midfield playing, so they can actually sort of have a position each and both get in the team. This guy is still only 22. Now, he feels like he's been in the Premier League for about 5-10 years, but is still incredibly young and has tons of potential. He's got the acceleration, he's got great pace, the passing's there, he's versatile, he's great for the registration as well. So he's a really strong player to actually have in this team, and there's several strong players. I'm always a big fan of Reiss Nelson, who again is only 23. A lot of people, including myself, actually forget how young these players are. They've got tons of potential. Fulham have got some really good players. He's a very nippy winger, he's got good dribbling, he's rapid when it comes to actually, you know, taking on players. The flair's there, the passing's not bad, the finishing and composure is not even that weak, but I guess you could say is his weak point, and his only con is going to be poor heading, which is irrelevant because he is not going to be required to header the ball once, so no real weaknesses in my book. You go to the other side, you've got a bit more experience in Iwobi, who again I thought was 30 but actually is still only 27 years of age. He might not be the most out there sort of player, but do you know what? Similar to Reiss Nelson, he's got a bit of pace, he's got the crossing, better dribbling, actually better composure as well. So we have got a couple of good wingers here, Iwobi and also Nelson. Of course, we have got the former Sheffield man Sander Berge, who again is a real strong midfield player. He come in for £12 million, which is an absolute steal. Very good for this level of football. And to partner him, we've got none other than Piera, who is again 27 years of age, probably got about 5 more years in him. A very good player that has now played at some pretty big clubs, including United, Lazio, of course, Granada down there, and we actually picked him up for 10 million. So I'm not being funny, we've got a real strong team. The bit that I'm a bit worried about isn't the back line, because we've got the likes of Robinson, who is a very sought-after left-back at the moment. We've got Castagna, bags of experience, and also a decent partnership at the back. What worries me is the strikers, because Rodrigo Muniz doesn't really fill me with too much confidence, and apart from him, you've got Carlos Vinicius, who, of course, is that player at Tottenham who celebrated his goal against, who was that really low league team? Someone remind me in the comments, but he ain't much cop either, in my opinion. Not a great player, and I think it is going to sort of come down to relying on the experience of Raul Jimenez, who is 32 years of age, and to be honest, has dropped down quite a fair bit in the FM rankings. Now, he's a player that has played at some real big clubs, including Wolves, Benfica, Atletico, also Club America, but I don't think he's going to do that well. Now, for the first season, we're not making transfers, so we will deal with what we've got. But I think going forward, apart from Morgan Gibbs-White, the next position is definitely going to be bringing in a new striker, because apart from that, I mean, midfield, we've got Kearney as well. Great rotation. Lukic, Reed as well. Of course, we've got the likes of Ryan Sessegnon, who is still only 23. Again, a player that I swear has been around for so many years. He's a really good option to have as a backup left back, left midfielder. He's sort of just a backup left-hand-sided player who can get game time across both of these positions, which is really helpful. Of course, we've also got the likes of Harry Wilson. He's either very hot or cold. Now, he's 26 and is currently a Sky Bet Championship level player. He will either really thrive and he can stay at the club, or we will move him on quite quickly so we can get some money back for him. Apart from that, the only other man that I want to mention is Willian. He'll be here maybe for a season, pretty much guaranteed to be one season, then go, because he is 34. So it is quite a nice mixture of a pre-built team, which can actually compete. Of course, the other big talking point is Reiss Nelson. He is on loan. We have got to try and buy him, and therefore that is going to be a bit of a interesting decision. But it's a good project here, because we are playing in 3 competitions, no European football in the first season. So what do they think we're going to do? They think we're going to finish 14th. I would be very annoyed if we finish in 14th. I think with this team we can be finishing in the top 7 potentially. I think it's a very strong team. Now, I have changed a couple of things on the tactic compared to the original version, mainly in the team instructions, going in with a little bit of a lower defensive line, and we are going to change a couple of player roles when new faces come in. So it is a bit of a tinkering season to see sort of who does well, who doesn't do well, but that's how you start rebuild. So let's get into the first season as we start off against United, which is going to be a bit of an interesting game. A big result for them last night against Lyon, a very good game, and let's see what we can do. Well, it is not a bad run in the FA Cup, a lot better than what I thought, to be honest, as we do get to the semi-finals, and we were actually very close to getting to the final, but unfortunately Chelsea do beat us in extra time. But for a first season, that's not half bad. In the Carabao Cup, a little bit more disappointing, because we do lose to Leicester, and the way that we lose the game is going to be on penalties, which is never nice. But let's just be realistic. This first season is purely about understanding exactly the team we've got at hand here, and unfortunately we've got another season to do that, because we have got no European football. We fall just one place really out of it. United got it in 8th place, and we were tied on points. In fact, we were literally 4 points off actually getting in the top 5, 5 points off the Champions League. So I'm not going to say this is a bad season. It's more just the league was so close together. Obviously the top 3 had a big gap on the rest of the league, but this sort of battle for the top 8, the top 4 even, was very close, and that is how close this is. Ipswich Town enjoyed a great season, by the way, 1 place behind us, and now we're looking at the likes of Leicester, Southampton and Wolves that are going down. So maybe there's going to be some good players for me to poach from them teams. But congratulations to Tottenham. It's a strong season from them, as James Maddison scores 18 goals, so a ridiculous season from him, and we have not got a single player in terms of anything useful in the stats, apart from Kenny Tete picking up the 4th most yellow cards, which is pretty useless information, but why not talk about it? Going over to the tactics though, we can go and see who has performed well, who hasn't, etc. Now, I will say one thing, I believe Reiss Nelson actually got recalled, so he is not going to be part of the plans, unfortunately. We will see exactly what happened with him, or whether we've just gone through and he's gone back to Arsenal. I think he did just get recalled, to be honest. Or maybe not, he's just gone back to Arsenal now. He had a great season for us, 21 goal contributions, and now he is valued at 41 to 50 million, so I highly doubt we can afford him. Unfortunately, Harry Wilson 1 and 3, we can't necessarily rely on him to be the Reece Nelson replacement because he is doing nothing of the same level. 11 and 5 for Smith Rowe isn't bad for a first season, and Rodrigo Muniz did prove me wrong as he comes in with 14 goals and also 4 assists. Iwobi had a very, very quiet season, which is quite annoying, as actually Willian is going to be the better player with 4 goals and 2 assists, which says a lot about Iwobi's performance in my opinion. We've got Sessegnon with 2 assists, and this man, Kearney, comes in with 5 goals and 4 assists in all competitions. He is 33 and, putting it politely, is on a rapid decline in terms of current ability, so he probably will be transfer listed, and I think this is where things get interesting because there's not really any of these players that have had, apart from these two actually, I will say, this midfield pairing didn't exactly do great, but considering Burge has got an injury of up to, 2 to 5 weeks right at the end, 4 goals, 6 assists, 5 and 6 from Piera, decent average rating. Robinson had a great season as well. Smith Rowe, other than them names, no one really impressed to the point where, I need to really, really guarantee them a position in the team going forward. A man we didn't talk about before, we also have got Adama Traore, who is purely there for the pace, and I probably will keep him. Because he can come on and just attack a back line quite easily, but there is so many positions in this team that need replacing, and when we go and look at this right now, we're actually the 6th best at scoring and the 7th worst at conceding. So I do think maybe the back line needs investment, but also the front line needs investment. So I think logically the only place that we don't need to go and sign anyone this season coming up is this area of midfield. This area maybe, so for example, if we can get Morgan Gibbs-White, which is no guarantee, but if we can, I believe he can play in the DLP. Piera could then play there, and then Burge could be a backup player, and we can just keep rotating and keep having a great time. I mean, Smith Rowe can also play on the left, which is a big thing for us because Iwobi's not playing that well. So if you imagine Smith Rowe on the left, Morgan Gibbs-White in the middle, we can still keep this real good pair in midfield, and then we'll just see who else is available on the market. But we've got a budget of 53, a bit more, 62 million to go and spend, and we will go and quickly see how much Morgan Gibbs-White is coming in at right now, 21 million. Now, if we can get him for near that price tag, I will buy him guaranteed. Nottingham Forest did actually have quite a good season, not as good as in real life, but we can't really screw them over on the price because, they're not as if they're going down or anything, so we'll see what we can do, and hopefully I come back and we have signed Morgan Gibbs-White. Right then, we have got the deal done. We have picked up Morgan Gibbs-White, and he cost me a bit more than 22 million. He cost me 35 million. He comes in, drops above a 7 average rating, 5 goals and 3 assists. Not as strong a season as what he had at his Nottingham Forest team, but I will say it is his first season. Now, he did get a better average rating, to be fair, at our club, and there was actually a bit of a mixture between him and Smith Rowe playing in that central area. So we've just got to make sure he is getting the game time, because he's a player that I think we can actually build this entire team around. Obviously, if he doesn't perform, I'm not just going to force him to be in the team, but he is one player going into this rebuild that I thought, do you know what? There's a lot of talk about him in real life at the moment. I think Tottenham want him in real life at the moment. I wanted to get him at Fulham early doors and try and build a team around him, and we were also able to pick up one more player. And that is going to be a big instalment sign, and it is going to be Evan Nilsson. Now, it's a gamble doing these instalment signings this early on, because it means that you have to improve pretty much every season you play. Now, I hope we have done that, because he has done quite well. 13 goals in the Premier League, 4 assists, his first time in England, let alone in the Premier League. It's not an easy task, and for that price tag, he is going to be quite harshly judged. But he's a player who has also got a bit of growth in him. He's 25, he's got good finishing, good composure, he's quite quick, got good balance, good strength. He's a very good player, and I'm hoping him and Morgan Gibbs-White can sort of lead the line, even for the next 3 or 4 years, until, they start to get older and we start to see these sort of new gens coming in. Now, players that are going out are actually all on loan. So Carlos Vinicius actually did go out on loan because he wasn't happy with the Evan Nilsson sort of bring in. He goes to Burnley and plays 2 games, so not a great loan spell there. We also have Luke Harris going out. We've got Martial Godo, we've got Connor, Chris, Terry, and also Martial Godo goes to Northampton there, and then to Cambridge, so quite interesting in that regard. But I would say we have strengthened quite heavily. A great midfield player, a great striker, and I'm hoping that bumps us up the league place. But it seems to have done the trick, because although it is only 1 place above that we have finished, we have qualified for the Conference League. So it's not the biggest European trophy, but I tell you what, it's a big statement to go from 1 season from no European football to then getting European football, showcasing that then players we brought in have had quite a big impact. Now, you say that, or I say that, none of the new players are actually in the stat lines. The players that are going to be in the stat lines are going to be Andres Pereira, Smith Rowe, second most assists. That is more like it. This is a player that can do that. He's a fantastic player, and he just needs to have the game time. The one worry is this: he is quite prone to an injury, and at the moment, as you can see, he is recovering from one. So he does like an injury, Smith Rowe, and we've got to really keep that under control. But as seasons go, 19 wins, only 9 draws, 10 losses. The only one that's really a battering there is against Villa. The rest of the games are actually quite close, but we need to start seeing at least one of our players in the next couple of years getting into these sort of top goal scoring ranks to really push on. The rest of the season wasn't too great. I mean, really disappointing stuff in the English trophies. A 4th round exit to West Brom, 2-1, which is not acceptable, and a 4th round in the Carabao Cup against Hull City, which, although it's only a goal, we should not be losing to a team like Hull City. In terms of the actual team, though, we can go and see Evan Nilsson also now has an injury, 7 days to 2 weeks, but luckily, I say luckily, he did actually play quite a fair few games of the season, but this again, he is prone to have injuries, so we have got to be quite careful with that, because we do not want that happening. Now, what actually happened in this team is going to be this: when you filter by the best 11, that is what the game plays unless you lock in players. So you are going to have Morgan Gibbs-White in that AM role, which he returns 5 and 4. It's okay. Smith Rowe, quite, I think that's actually better than last season, 5 and 12. Pierre now in the DLP, 15 and 12. You've got Iwobi 4 and 7, which is an improvement, and Evan Nilsson 18 and 4. So despite the injury, still doing very well, as did Sander Berge in central midfield. Robinson had a bit of a drop off in the assists, but they're sort of being assisted by the more attacking players now, which is completely fine. You've got Bassi with a goal, Lukic with 3, Rodrigo Muniz back at the club now with 2, Traore 9 goal contributions. I mean, he's not exactly a world-class player, but to bring on off the bench, then that sort of return, he's worth keeping in my opinion, unless we get like a pretty generous offer. But I mean, you're not going to find much quicker players than him, so you may as well keep him to cause some issues. 7 assists from Wilson as well. Didn't score a goal, but more than happy with him to get assists. Coming on, making the difference. And 1 and 3 from Sessegnon as well. A player that I do think does need to be moved on now is going to be Raul Jimenez. He is on the transfer list. He is also injured 7 days to 3 weeks, and he has played 1 game. He did score in the game, but he is playing 1 game in an entire season. He can't stay at the club. Now, as you can also see, he is a decent player for the Sky Bet Championship. We are not in the Championship, and we do not want Championship players. He's also 34 years of age, so he's not as if he's a youngster. He can improve. His career is right at the end. It is time for him to move on, and we have now got Evan Nilsson up front, and it's quite clear between Rodrigo Muniz and potentially, actually, Carlos Vinicius is leaving permanently to Burnley. So Rodrigo Muniz is now going to be the backup striker, who I think is fine, to be honest, going forwards. So we'll see what we can do, see what we can strengthen, because we have got a budget of around about £60 million. So quite a fair bit of money to spend. But once again, you now question where you spend the money. I think maybe on the back line. I think that should be the next focus. Well, I've got tempted by attacking players again, as I usually do in these rebuilds. It's become a bit of a trait for me, because we actually popped a release clause from what, Galatasaray. Zanilo is going to come in for £30 million, 9 goals, 6 assists. He is going to be one of our star wingers going forward in this rebuild. He's only 26, he's an elite winger, he's played for some pretty big clubs, and he is just really well balanced. His mental attributes are good, technical, physical, and like I said, he is a real big player to bring into this Fulham team that hopefully will raise the performance of the people around him. Look at all of the pros he has it's quite a fair bit. The one thing that I seem to be doing is signing injury-prone players, so we will keep that under control. Again, I don't really know why I've done this, but I do like a Turkish player, and I tell you what, it is going to be Orkun Koşu coming in from Benfica for a total of £45.5 million. He comes in and just does that little level above what we've got at the moment. 20 goal contributions in his first season. He can play alongside a Morgan Gibbs-White as well, drops above a 7 average rating. And look at our midfield now. We have got Smith Rowe, Morgan Gibbs-White, we've got Koşu. Just in the attacker midfield roles, we are absolutely stacked. That is a sort of lineup that can potentially get your top 4 football. Of course, we were in that Conference League final, and we are going to be playing Marseille in the final, which is not an easy final by any means of the imagination, as they are going to go 1-0 up very early on inside of 7 minutes. And sadly, after a very, very good run in this competition, we just couldn't get it done in the big game. We're going to lose 2-0. What is Leno doing there? We are going to win the Friendly Cup 7-2, so I guess it's our first actual real trophy. That doesn't feel right claiming that one, though. As for the Premier League, it is going to be a big, big improvement. We are going to be in the top 6 now, which is really, really nice to see. And we are going to be seeing one of our new players in the stat lines, which is a big statement. I will say, again, I would like to see a few more of our players in here, but Orkun Koşu is going to come in as the joint 3rd most player of the matches in the Premier League. Apart from that, it seems to be quite dominated by Chelsea and Man City players, so fair play to them. But this sort of battle for the top 4 again, we talking 4 points, so we are looking maybe at 1 more season, 2 more seasons. We can really secure a place in that top 4 if we base this off. We've got to progress the way that we are, because there's no guarantee that happens, of course. But in terms of the English Cup, it's pretty disappointing. The FA Cup is going to be a 4th round exit against United, and the Carabao Cup a 3rd round against Chelsea. So I mean, not ideal. When we talk about the Chelsea game, it was incredibly close, but the United game, I believe, was 5-2. 5-2 is a bit of a humiliating scoreline, but at the end of the day, we have got to some form of European final. Sadly, we couldn't win it because Marseille, by the way, was easily the hardest team we could have played. I mean, some of the teams that we went on to beat were beaten PAOK, so I mean, a bit of an easier game there. The quarterfinals, we played Başakşehir, I believe is how you say that, a 4-1 win. The round of 16, we go on to beat Real San Sebastian, which is Real Sociedad, I believe. Real Sociedad. Need to get the name fixed for that one. So we are beating, you know, teams that, let's just say, we should be beaten. The first real big challenge, we simply can't get done. But of course, it doesn't really matter because you've got Europa League from the Premier League. So I mean, we are going to be playing in that competition anyway, and we have been given a budget of 56 million to go and spend to build a team that can compete in that competition. We've also got a bit of debt going on in terms of net debt, £98 million in the net debt. So we have got to be careful right now. But of course, my method behind rebuilds is to get the squad ready and then have a bit of a quiet season at some point, unless, you know, the debts get cleared, because in football you do need to spend a couple of pennies to try and win trophies. So that's exactly the path we're going to go down. But looking at what we've got this season, we're seeing Evan Nilsson strengthen. 24 and 5 from him, 18 and 12 from Koşu, Zanilo 15 and 16, 7 and 13 from Piera, Sander Berge 2 and 4, 7 and 2 from Cuenca at centre back, very strong, 8 and 6 from Smith Rowe, Rodrigo Muniz with 5, Morgan Gibbs-White 16 and 8, which is something that I will show you, 7 and 2 in the Premier League alone, because a lot of people probably thought, why have you brought Koşu in? That means that Morgan Gibbs-White won't be able to play. It is not true at all, because Gibbs-White actually now plays in that DLP role and Koşu goes above him. Zanilo, again, great season as we mentioned, and we go down here, Mr. Piera as well, 7 and 13 overall, 3 and 9 in the Premier League, and we have now got a ridiculous midfield option. I mean, we've got Koşu, Gibbs-White, Sander Berge, Smith Rowe, Lukic, we've got Piera, and also we've got the likes of Reed and Kearney, who probably are going to be on their way out, but the midfield is really under control. We need to focus on the back line. We have done just that. We have picked up a very solid right back coming in from Manchester United, actually, so quite hard to get him, but they let him go for 29 million. He comes in, that is going to be Gela coming in with 36 appearances, 4 assists, and also a player of the match. He is a right back who is definitely sign for the future. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to eliminate the fact that we might get a new gen right back coming that is simply too good to pass up on, but for now, this guy is going to be our leading right back. He has got the pace, he's got the fitness, he has also got great work rate and stamina, which is good because eventually I want to get these wing backs pushing up pretty much every opportunity they can. As we get stronger, more dominant in the Premier League, I want to take more risks, so signing players that can do that is absolutely essential. And the other player that we do go and bring in is going to be Ronnie Bargi. So again, another attacker midfield player, or winger should I say, but brought in for the future. He's 21 and Iwobi is sort of getting older, and I'm not being funny, when you've got the chance to sign someone like Bargi for his release clause of 16 million, you have to take it. We're talking 18 goal contributions in his first season. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, he was locked in. He was locked into play, so I am basically forcing him to have that chance to actually redeem himself and justify the small price tag we paid. And I mean, he's done that in one season, a very, very, very strong time. In fact, we can actually go and see the two players that were locked in, 16 and 21, and also 10 and 19. Incredibly strong. And we can also see, if we go to that Premier League, we are going to finish in 6th place once again, which is completely fine. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not exactly a full-on improvement, but at least we're being consistent in the Premier League, and we are getting the results, and we are getting the job done. A bit off the top four, I will say, but looking at it, Evan Nilsson is going to be joint second with the goals. We're also going to see Zanilo right in there with the assists, and I've got a feeling something special happened in the Europa League, because we've got Champions League football. And this Europa League final could not have started off in a worse way, because I believe Marcus Rashford is going to be the issue. Bruno Fernandes does play through Rashford, who looked offside, but clearly wasn't, as they are going to go 1-0 up, and all the pressure was now on us. But luckily, we do find a way back into the game, with Zanilo down the left-hand side, taking on his man, a great ball in, and a great header from Evan Nilsson. Comes to Ronnie Bargi, the new man, who gets the equaliser, and you won't quite believe who went and grabbed the winner, because he's a player that I've not exactly hyped up too much this video. It's going to be none other, get your predictions in the comments, than this man right now. Iwobi just takes one massive touch inside, and we're going to beat United on the biggest stage of them all. So that is right, we are going to be Europa League winners in 2027, meaning our first season in the Champions League. Now, we did beat a couple of decent teams in Rennes. We beat them 4-2, which is quite comfortable. Also, Besiktas is not an easy game at this stage of the competition. We beat them as well, and the round of 16, we are going to beat AZ 11-1, so quite convincing there. The rest of the competitions, again, we have been so poor in the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup this season. It is really bad, but do you know what? Considering we have got Champions League football and already won a European trophy now, I'm going to allow for a couple of bad performances this season in those cups, because we're doing really well, because we're remaining consistent in the Prem. We've already now won a big trophy, and I imagine that will give us a bit more to play with. 65 million, so about £10 million more than what we got last season. The debts and loans have gone down by 30 million, so that's pretty impressive as well. And as we mentioned, I mean, Bargi had a great season. 16 and 21, 10 and 19 from Zanilo, but have they done enough to get their team guaranteed, the slot in the team guaranteed? They have. They are going to be your official left wing and right wing players now, with Koshu through the middle, who has got 17 and 13. That is 30 goal contributions. Morgan Gibbs-White doing a great job in DLP. Ridiculous stats from him. And Evan Nilsson, of course, is going to score loads of goals, because our wingers and attacking midfield player have got loads of assists. So 32 goals from Evan Nilsson. Smith Rowe 9 and 7. Rodrigo Muniz 4 and 1. 4 and 6 from Piera. Tete 4 assists. Iwobi still had a decent season, by the way, coming in with 10 and 3, 5 and 1 in the Premier League. So I'm not slating him to slate him, but when you've got Zanilo and Bargi, you are going to, you know, want to play them people over him. So I think that's only fair. But looking at this team, there is one position I'm looking at right now that I want to upgrade, and that is going to be a goalkeeper, because Leno is 35 now. He is going to get slowly worse and worse and worse. He's not exactly playing awfully, but I do think there are going to be better goalkeepers on the market, and I have got a name in mind. I'm not going to spoil it, but I've got a name in mind that I want to pick up, but I don't think it's going to be doable in this price tag, depending on how the team done, which I can't really show you the team because you'll 100% know the goalkeeper. And just to make that move definite, we are actually going to offload Leno to West Ham. He is going to be going on the free as well. He goes there and concedes 60 goals, so it's not a great time for him. He's actually ended up conceding more goals in less games than what he did with us, so it's not a great season for him. And to replace him, we have got the goalkeeper in mind. That is going to be Bart Verbruggen, coming in from Brighton for a total of 42 million, only 20 million paid up front, but he comes in, he keeps 16 clean sheets, he's a lot better than what we have had in the past, and he's a goalkeeper for the future. He's 25, most likely is going to be the goalkeeper for the rest of the rebuild, unless we can see some ridiculous new gen sort of goalkeeper coming in. He is just a very, very strong goalkeeper, perfectionist personality as well. He obviously sort of dominates the goalkeeping section when it comes to, obviously as a goalkeeper, pretty much all in the yellow, but other things like the composure, the vision, the jump and reach, they all play a part somewhere, so he is a very, very good option. And we had enough money, because we only spent 20 million up front for him, to actually also go and get Bradley Bacola, so a very, very big signing coming in from PSG. This does a lot for the team morale, bringing in big names, and just gives us another attacking option. Now, he has actually been brought in to be a backup striker, slash first team striker, alongside of Evan Nilsson, but as the likes of a João Pedro is, he can play on the left, on the right, and up front. He's 25, he is rapid, good finishing, decent composure, great dribbling, good passing, and he comes in and plays 38 games, so he stayed fit. And he has got a position somewhere in this team, quite clearly. 17 goals, 14 assists. In the Premier League alone, he has definitely done something. I wonder where he has taken the position, because Zanilo and Bargi looked undroppable. It's going to be our first chance to win that UEFA Super Cup, but we do play Real Madrid because obviously they won the Champions League. It is not going to be an easy game, but in extra time, we find a way through. So we're going to take it. We want to win the European South American Club Cup Challenge. Again, it's a trophy that I very rarely include even in the video, but I will take it. We're trying to stack up the trophies. Champions League is going to be very interesting because we are in the quarterfinals, and in the first leg, we are 3-0 up against Real Madrid. We could be about to knock out one of the best Champions League teams and go through to a semi-final. If we didn't go on to lose 6-1 at the Bernabeu, this is what they thought they were going to do against Arsenal, and it didn't work out. Against us, they did, and I'm not being funny, but that is potentially one of the biggest bottles I've ever seen in one of my rebuilds. That is really, really bad, because a semi-final appearance, we might not even go on to win it, obviously, in this season, but that is not a nice way to go out. But I guess getting past the round of 16, the groups, is a small positive. FA Cup isn't going to improve, as we are going to go out in the 4th round very early again, and this time against Wolves. Carabao Cup, again, it's not the worst way to go out. It is on penalties, but against Arsenal, a very, very strong team. But we need to start to do better in these English Cups, because we have got nowhere near a final in any of them as it stands. The Premier League, though, was a big improvement. We actually finished in 2nd, only 3 points behind Liverpool, who won the whole thing. And we finally now have players to talk about. Evan Nilsson, 2nd top goal scorer. We've got the likes of Bradley Bacola, Zanilo in the assists, 18 and 14. They are the 2 best players in the Premier League this year. So it's a very, very strong season from everyone. Verbruggen joint 1st with the clean sheets. And we are now a competitive team. And when you look at the players that we locked in this year, Verbruggen was locked in, Bargi was locked in at 2 and 10, and Bargi's got to be careful because he's had 2 seasons now locked in to guarantee his slot in the team, and as it stands, he isn't going to be one of the best options, as Bacola is going to come in, and you can't argue with stats. 25 and 21, Zanilo, I mean, it's ridiculous. 48 goal contributions. Kosher and Gibbs-White still doing their thing. Evan Nilsson doing his thing. Piera 1 and 10. 2 and 10 from Bargi. So, I mean, Bargi, I don't want him to be a backup player, but there's one thing that I will not do, and that is lock in a player for 5-6 seasons. I will give them, as a young player, a few seasons, a couple of seasons to, like, adapt and really get into their own. But at the end of the day, If you're not performing, you will not be in the team. It's as simple as that. It doesn't mean he's not part of the squad, but the first 11, the best players are going to be chosen because we want to try and win trophies. So no position is safe at the moment. But looking at the players we've got right now, I'm actually quite confident with the goalkeeper. It would take some ridiculous thing to come up to even bring in another goalkeeper, to be honest. Right back, we've got a good right back, a good left back. Centre backs, maybe we look to get someone better as a backup. Cuenca and Anderson are two very good centre backs, but Bassi and Diop are not the best backups, so maybe a younger centre back. Other than that, I think we're good, to be honest. I mean, we're not good forever, but for the next season, we don't need to worry about too much. Finance-wise, we have actually got 94 million, our first real big budget. The debts and loans have been almost cleared, and of course it does help when you're in Champions League football, you're winning Super Cups, you know, you're second place in the Premier League, you're going to get quite a bit of prize money. So let's queue into the next season with a big budget and only real one position that I want to sign in. Right, then we have got some outgoings. The first one is going to be Adama Traore. He is actually going to go on the free. Now this is a player that I have kept around purely in case of an emergency. The last 2 seasons he didn't play a single game, and when I noticed that, I refused to pay his wage, so he can happily go. So we have brought in a bit of an older centre-back, actually, because he's a centre-back that I've signed. I believe I signed him at Leipzig in one of my old rebuilds, and he was just a really good option. It is going to be Boyomo, coming in from, I believe that is the Spanish league, for £28 million. He plays every game, drops a 6.93, so he is a very good centre-back option. Now, it's not really one for the future, but for £28 million, I couldn't really turn him down because he is an absolute machine. Now, I have gone over and spent pretty big on the left back, almost like a Pep Guardiola signing. Now, bearing in mind, look at his value right now, okay? So we have not paid anywhere near that. We paid 60 million, and he played 27 games, got an assist, dropped a 6.93. I will say the left back in this system isn't designed to go up and down as much as the right back. He's more told to put the balls in from quite deep. So, I mean, at the end of the day, he won't get an outrageous amount of assists compared to the right back, but we've now got him and Robinson. That is a pretty big lineup. Now, I know I said it would take something of a miracle to get another goalkeeper in, and that miracle happened. Restes on the free, I will never say no, because he is a backup, by the way. His contract is literally a backup, and he actually does only play 2 games, and keeps 2 clean sheets, so fair play to him. But to have him as a backup goalkeeper is absolutely mental, and I will sell him if we get the offers coming in, because that can just give us more money. Sometimes the players that you don't think you need end up becoming available. You've just got to take them. So, I mean, we're talking about getting a ridiculous goalkeeping partner right now, a great left back and a great centre back, a few more players going out on loan, but the only permanent move is, of course, Adama Traore, leaving us to go to the Bundesliga. I think that, again, is another strong season. Friendly Cup, we are going to win again. I will show you at this time because we actually beat PSG, which is half decent. You might not believe this because we're about to go 1-0 up in a Carabao Cup final. We've never been to one before, and we are finally going to get a chance, but Tottenham have signed some pretty big players. Coyote and Elliott, just to name 2, and Bergvall is going to leap, and it is going to be Bentancur who is going to tie the game up in the 105th minute. But we are going to go on to win this Carabao Cup in the 108th minute with Smith Rowe into Evanilson through into Bargy, and that is why you sign him. What a win. Also go on to finally win the Premier League in 2029. It was a ridiculously close season. Arsenal really did push us to the max. And I tell you what, for the first time I think I've seen in a long time, we have got not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 joint top goal scorers, where one of our players is going to be in there. Evanilson with 19 goals. Verbruggen, second place in the clean sheets. Bradley Bacola, the most assists in the Premier League. These are the stats you want to be getting if you're trying to be taken seriously. Now, we have won the Premier League, we have won the Carabao Cup, an early exit in the FA Cup, which, you know, I'm not as annoyed about now because we have won the Premier League and the Carabao Cup. The Champions League, we do go down a stage. Obviously, last year we got to the quarterfinal. This year we do lose to Tottenham on penalties in the round of 16. But the actual league phase, we are getting out automatically. You know, we're winning 5 games here. We're beating AC Milan, Real Madrid, we're drawing against Inter Milan, and we're losing against City, which is expected, and Club Brugge, which is a little bit annoying. But I mean, we're playing some very good football in this competition, great in the Premier League, great in the Carabao Cup, but how nice is it to go and see on the past winners, we are now there. Runners-up last year, and we finally improved and got the job done. That is really, really impressive stuff. In terms of the finances, we are going to have mega budgets now because we've won the Premier League and the Carabao Cup. £157 million to spend. The debt is practically zero, and that means we can now start to go into what I call the crazy part of the rebuild, because our lineup's already ridiculous. There's no secret behind that. You look at the front four we've got here: 19 and 11, 20 and 13, 13 and 17, 24 and 6, 10 and 10 from Smith Rowe, 13 and 9 from Bargy, Piera 7 and 8. We have got a ridiculous team, but with this money and this year that we're in, we now are in the sort of new gen wonder kid phase, and I do like to sign some of them for those that carry on the rebuild on the Patreon. So we are going to go crazy because we've got the money and we are still chasing down trophies. We haven't won an FA Cup or a Champions League. We still haven't done a treble yet in terms of an actual treble. There's still a lot to play for in this rebuild, so don't go anywhere. Be sure to leave a like. Let's cue the next transfers. Right then, I was going to plan to spend big on a striker, but I don't need to because we are going to pick up Leonardo on the free, and he has returned 19 league goals and 5 assists in his first year at the club. Now, this guy either develops really well or develops really poorly. Now, I will say he's been playing in the Saudi league, so he's been stat padding, but that does mean his attributes have gone up as well. He is rapid, 17 composure, 17 finishing, 16 first touch, great off the ball work, great technique as well, an elite striker on 160 grand a week with nearly 20 Premier League goals in his first season. Yeah, welcome. Another incredible centre-back option is going to be Filippo Mane, coming in from RB Leipzig for 65 million, plays a ton of games, doesn't score from a set-piece or anything, but does return a great average rating, and in terms of centre-backs as they go, he is definitely one of the stronger options. Great pace, great acceleration, really strong agility. The tackling isn't the best I've seen, it's still very, very good, but he still can improve a little bit, which is quite a big statement. Lastly, the first new gen, the first wonder kid is going to be Luka Sarkic, coming in from United for 58 million, plays a ton of games, above a 7 average rating, 3 goals, 6 assists. Again, a player that will sort of work his way into the team alongside of the other options we have got. I've done it to prepare, okay, because the likes of Piera are fantastic players, the likes of Sander Berge are fantastic players, but they are getting older. This guy's 22, so he's 22 with a lot of attributes in the yellow. Come on, you've got to pick him up. And just signings like that, it's going to be the reason why we go back-to-back in the Premier League. Back-to-back winners, as you can see right now. That is going to be some statement for the rest of the teams in England. We have got Zanilo in the 4th top goal scorer rank, Verbruggen being very consistent now with joint second clean sheets. We've also got Koshu, second most assists, and we've got 2 players in the top 4 of the average rating in the entire Premier League. Unfortunately, you are going to see for the first time, I think, in this rebuild, every newly promoted team going back down. Blackburn, Leeds and Stoke all gone. Ipswich Town no longer in the Premier League, I've just noticed as well, which is absolute heartbreak, but we've gone back to back. I'm not too fussed. This is going to be something to say. We are in a Champions League final against Chelsea. Now, considering we beat these twice in the league, this is a really good chance to actually, wow, that is a ridiculous start from Barcola. A great goal inside of 12 minutes. And as this stands, this might be a bit of a pasting in one of the biggest, or the biggest competition in world football. A 2-0 lead inside of 13 minutes. Chelsea on the ball now, though, with Lavia into Jackson, into Wirtz. That is a great turn and a great run from Payet, who I imagine is going to go through. And yeah, fair play to Chelsea. That is a fantastic goal from a very, very good midfield player. One that is currently on my transfer list. Koshu, a ball back stick. It is awful from their goalkeeper. The new man in midfield hits it, and that is going to be a fantastic fantastic time to announce yourself as a Fulham player there, as we are going to lead 3-1. Reece James there had an absolute stinker. Barcloa, ball back in, and that again, awful goalkeeping, as we are going to lead 4-1 inside of the 50th minute. And the goals kept on flowing. I cannot believe the amount of goals. I don't want to ruin the amount of goals we scored, but currently we've scored 4, make that 5. Chelsea are absolutely falling apart. And I tell you what, when I saw Chelsea come up as the finalists, I was like, we can actually win this, because we beat them twice in the final, and even with this goal going in, they're playing some pretty good football. I wasn't worried at all, because we go on to score one last goal and win the Champions League 6-2. That is a 4-goal cushion against a team like Chelsea, and it's going to be Bargy as well. To go on to win the Carabao Cup, which that is going to make it back-to-back. So the FA Cup we haven't mastered yet so far, but as the Carabao Cup goes, we've gone back-to-back. Just to clear things up though, the actual FA Cup was really bad, because we go out in the 4th round against Swansea, and I would be annoyed, but we have won the Premier League, the Carabao Cup and the Champions League, so we have now done an official treble. The Community Shield, we do lose 3-0 to Arsenal as well, but there's no room to be annoyed. We have won the Champions League, the Premier League and the Carabao Cup in a ridiculous season, where we have now got a budget of 243 million. Now, that does happen. When you win all these trophies, you've got good owners with tons of money, that is going to happen. We have got nearly £250 million to go and spend. Now, in terms of players, I didn't lock in a single player for the reason of it is now a complete fight for your position. We're all now part of a team. I mean, Gela, 9 assists, Robinson, 7 and 10 for Morgan Gibbs-White, 7 and 12 coming in there for the new man in DLP, 36 and 19 from Zanilo, who, I'm going to say it, is making a big statement to be player of the video at the moment. He has been a ridiculously consistent player. Koshu as well, Barcola, Leonardo, 30 and 7. Evan Nilsson had a bit of a drop-off. Obviously, when you introduce such a bagsman into the team, Evan Nilsson now becomes the backup. It's not a great feeling, but you can't miss up on somebody like Marcus Leonardo. I mean, we did not spend a penny on him, and he's now valued at 74 million. You can't miss that opportunity. Simple as that. You know, other players include Bargy, 10 and 9, 4 and 7 from Piera. We've still got opportunities for these players, but I mean, as the transfers and the windows go on, we've got $250 million to spend. We don't need to spend it, necessarily all of it, but if there's new gens on the market, I'll help you guys out and sign them. Finally, it is going to be time for Andres Piera to get a move. He is going to go to the Saudi League after a ton of help he has given us at this club. Nothing but respect for him. We get 5.5 million back for him. And you know what? I'm not going to say, apart from this season here, he's not exactly been electric in the Premier League, but consistent. He's been there. He's helped us get to where we are. We're also going to wave goodbye to a very loyal and long-term centre-back. That is going to be Anderson, leaving to the Saudi League. He come in for 15 million, or actually on the free, I believe. So that is going to be pure profit of 9.5 million. He has slowly been playing less games and less games. So, putting it bluntly, he's getting old. Simple as that. You got to go. Our first big signing, our first big new gen signing, and I mean a perfect 5 out of 5 player, is going to be this Turkish winger. Now, I tell you what, he looks ridiculous. He has got great acceleration, great pace, great stamina, great aggression, great dribbling, first touch, technique, the whole lot. His only weakness is the finishing, but you wouldn't think it, as he scores 15 goals in the Premier League and also picks up 11 assists. So, I mean, he really has proven himself as what this says here, a world-class winger. The downside is the price tag of 88 million and the wage of nearly 400k a week. Rafael Luis is going to come in from Benfica for 56 million pounds. He enjoys quite a good first season. It's no secret, after losing a couple of midfield players, we are going to look to bring in someone a bit younger. He's 26, world-class, model citizen, world-class midfield player. Do I need to say any more? He's incredible. £14.5 million. I've taken a bit of a punt on this player. He's definitely one for the future. He might even get loaned out. It is going to be Gabriel. Now, he only plays 5 games. He doesn't exactly drop a bad average rating, but he's not a player that's like a big standout signing, but he just gives me that sort of vibe that he might become a decent player. And for 15 million, You can't really go wrong. Lastly, again, similar sort of vibe, and actually, wow, has done very well to the point where he's knocked Gela out of his right-back slot. He come in for what, 9 million? 35 appearances, 6 assists, 2 goals. He was a player very similar to Gabriel at centre-back, but he obviously has come in and just completely taken the league by storm. Very unexpected. We also had a ton of players go out on loan. All of these names that you see are players that I simply want to sell. If I can't sell them, I will accept loans so the wages can be paid, and hopefully those teams buy them after. But we're talking about now introducing a world-class winger, world-class midfield player, a future centre-back, and apparently an incredible right-back who was designed for the future but instantly is now in the team. FA Cup seems to just be cursed because we cannot do anything in this at all. We go out in the 4th round again, against Palace. However, we are going to win the Premier League, make that 3 seasons back-to-back. That is a real big statement. Koshu is going to be the 2nd top goal scorer. Verbruggen finally the most clean sheets. And I tell you what, the new man, the winger, is going to top the assist category. That is a statement sent. What a signing. Champions League. We are going to go back-to-back in, which is some statement right there. A 1-0 win over PSG, which does mean, as I mentioned, back-to-back Champions League winners. Now, we also did go through Bayern, 6-2, quarter-finals, 4-3 over Man City, and round of 16 beaten Barcelona. So there is no one that can say we did not deserve to win this. We deserve to win it every single time. We are also going to lift the Super Cup 5-1 over Newcastle, so that is, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, our 2nd time of doing that. English Community Shield, I believe our 1st time winning that. It is indeed. We are going to lift that 2-0. The Carabao Cup, also 2-1 over City, meaning the only thing we didn't win is the FA Cup. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trophies in one season. We are now at the point of the Fulham era, the Fulham dominance era, where we are winning almost everything. Now, the ultimate challenge here is to try and win the FA Cup as well and win 6 out of 6 trophies. Then you can't really top it. So, I mean, we'll see what we can do. I imagine the transfer budget is going to be mental. It is mental. 265 million. The debts and loans are practically zero. We have got endless resources, we have got endless opportunity, and the players we have got in this team right now are absolutely ridiculous. I mean, Restes actually gets in now as the best goalkeeper, apparently. We've got Jamie, the new right-back, Mane, Cuenca, Robinson, Luis, Sarkic, we've got the Turkish absolute delight, Koshu, Barcola, Leonardo, and some of the stats these lads are putting up, I mean, 17 and 20 in his first season. 32 and 18 from Koshu, Barcola 18 and 10, Leonardo 36 and 5. Gibbs-White is now probably classed as more of a backup. As I said, he was the man to sort of get this project underway. He now might be taking a bit of a backseat, which is completely fine. He has done his thing. Zanilo 10 and 7, very similar position. The likes of Bargi, though, I will look at, as he actually, for the first time in his career, is now going to be doing nothing. Now, I give Bargi a fair shot. He's still been contributing a lot over the past few seasons, and I'll never sell him because he is a ridiculous option to have to bring on off the bench. But when you've got someone like this man who is staying fit and playing games, you will never outcompete him if you're Bargi. The guy is simply too good. Koshu is really doing well, but again, he is 30, and that is one thing I will say about this team. If we filter by the best here, some of my favourite names, like Tete, Castagna, they're going to have to go, Iwobi's going to go, Lukic is going to go, Diop's going to go, Robinson's 33, Burge 33, Bender 32, Zanilo 31, Evan Nilsson 31. We have got almost half of the squad page above 31. So these new gens are going to keep coming in, because that is how you keep rebuilding a successful football club. Cue the next season. Right then, we have got an unhappy Elias Gela. He was not happy that he's been kicked out of the team. It wasn't my choice, but I let my players battle it out. And we actually do recover 39 million. So we have turned a profit on him. So that doesn't make me as annoyed. He's a fantastic player, but I'm not going to have a player tell me who to play. He can leave. Also, are going to generate 17 million for Rodrigo Muniz, which, considering he's not played a game well, he's played one game in 3 years, I will happily take that from Forest who find themselves in the Championship. Also going to cash in 1.8 million for one of our own new gens, who is also going to go for Brentford for 1.8 million. Lamine Yamal, 150 million, 27 goal contributions in 32 Premier League games. A world-class winger, the best winger potentially on the left-hand side that isn't a new gen. Ridiculous. 16 acceleration, 20 agility, great pace, great flair, great off-the-ball work. The guy is an absolute dream, and he is still 24 years of age. He's one for the future still, and he now becomes probably, in fact, definitely our highest valued player. What a signing. I don't disappoint, because we have now got a player with such a high price tag, we can't even value him. It's going to be Hassan coming in from Newcastle for 160 million. Now, I got a comment on my video last time about Josh. He's not even played a game at Newcastle, and he didn't. They flipped him and earned a lot of money, but I want him at my team. And I tell you what, just looking at the recent form at United, at Leipzig, he's a player that comes in and instantly does better. 8 goals, 12 assists, 7.38, and I'm not being funny, the guy's incredible. Great technical, great mental, great physical attributes. The guy's a dream to work with, and any former Leipzig man I will happily have. It's a ridiculously expensive window, but let's not forget, we had a big budget, we made 58 million, we spent 310. We are going to be your back-to-back Premier League winners. 3 times on the bounce. 4 times on the bounce now. 88 points, 8 losses, 1 draw, 29 wins. Leonardo, second top goal scorer. No goalkeepers in the clean sheets, which tells me maybe they're both now getting game time, Verbruggen and Restes. Yamal, second best performer. And we have got 4 players in the assists. We've got the Turkish winger, Yamal behind him, Hassan, Koshu. The team is an absolute dream. That is ridiculous. We are in an FA Cup final, and we are going to be scoring inside of 50 seconds. And I tell you what, it's scrappy, but that finish from Yamal, that's beautiful, is what that is. Unfortunately for us, Brighton bounced back literally around about 10 minutes after. A great ball over the top, and our backline gets caught. Simple as that. Bradley puts a ball in, and that's a great finish. And this game was so boring. No goals for the rest of the game, all the way down to penalties. Elliott is going to step up for Brighton. It is a... wow, what even is that from Restes? Hassan, a lot of pressure right now. Pressures for tyres. A great finish there into the bottom right. A Brighton player steps here, and it's a great penalty into the top right-hand corner. Evan Nilsson, the backup striker, please score. He does score. A great goal there. We are going to have Busakwe stepping up, and it is going to be another great penalty. Only the finest from the players today. Zanilo steps. Only the finest once again. These are really strong penalties. Minter steps, and Restes uses his big hands, and it is going to be a great save. Sarkic is going to step, and it is a absolute lashing penalty into the top right. Lamptey is going to step and score, but I can imagine that is going to be it. That is right. We are finally going to win the FA Cup, meaning we have won every trophy, not all together, but we have won every trophy that is possible to us at this highest level, which is really impressive, because we also go on to win the Super Cup 2-0 over Chelsea. We'll take it. The Carabao Cup, runners-up, sadly. I mean, we've got our fair share of Carabao Cup, so only fair someone else wins it. Winners of the Community Shield, which I do believe makes that back-to-back. And the only thing we don't win is the Champions League, which we do drop off a little bit, but I mean, we've won 2 back-to-back. The quarterfinals, we are going to lose 7-4 against Bayern, who are not messing about. They've got Nagelsmann in charge, and their team, you know, is looking ridiculously lively. But I mean, we've still won the Premier League, Super Cup, FA Cup. You know, we've still won 4 trophies in this season, which is really impressive. And I mean, at this stage of the rebuild, we are pretty much, I mean, look at the up arrow. We've now got that flat line, which means you can't really improve anymore. We are doing such a good job. The trophy cabinet, compare this to the start of the video, guys. We've done such a good job, and it's down to the tactic, it's down to the system, it's down to the players, it's down to the transfers. We've done such a good job. This right back, by the way, is really proven himself to be quite something. 10 assists, we've got Robinson with 7, 11 goals from Mane from my set pieces. They will be dropping on the Patreon either this weekend or the next week. 13 and 15 from Asan, beautiful. You've got 5 and 7 from Luis, pretty quiet, but it's okay. 22 and 32 coming in there from the Turkish delight himself. 23 and 15 from Koshu. Yamal 18 and 28. Leonardo 37 and 1. The bench is still looking very lively, and we go in now to what I think is our last season with a budget of 247 million pounds. The debts and loans, we have got quite a fair bit, so we might take it quite tame with the transfers. But I mean, we are a winning machine. We're not going to have a quiet window because I'm going to be looking out for you guys for the future. And we're going to be signing James Palmer at right back for competition for our other right back because I want some fight in this team. And he is going to come in for 63 million, 29 games, and drops a 7.12. And this guy just looks more complete than our current right back. He's a little bit better, and both of them can go hammer and tongs and really compete for the right back role. What I will say for those watching at this part of the video, if you are going to carry on back home, make sure you train one of these to also play left back. Then you can't really go wrong. You can have one versatile one and one set right back. 88 million pounds. We are also going to pick up one of the best left backs I have seen, and sadly, he somehow didn't get a game. So if you are playing back home, lock him in for a season because he still is looking very good. He is rapid, great pace, great acceleration, great stamina, great aggression, great bravery. I mean, the guy is a dream left back. And to finish off a 232 million pound window, welcome in Peter George, coming in from FC Bayern. A fun fact, he was meant to join the club in season 8, but he was literally not obtainable. So we picked him up now for 89 million, a ridiculous centre-back with 6 goals, 2 assists. He gets right into the team. He is rapid. He has got everything that you'd want, man. I mean, everything you would want. Position and work rate, technique, tackling, marking, heading. The guy's an absolute monster, and he's 24 years of age. With these signings, it wouldn't surprise me if we win the Premier League again. It's exactly what we have done, and this time we've done it in style. Over a 10-point advantage, or under, sorry, just under a 10-point advantage. We've got 3 players in the assists. We've got Koshu with the second most player of the matches. He's the second top goal scorer. Leonardo's the third top goal scorer. I mean, our players are turning up, and they are not messing about. That is going to be 5 Premier Leagues back to back. Going to be right back on top when it comes to the Champions League as we get revenge, and we are going to beat PSG on penalties this time, meaning we have lifted that beautiful trophy 3 times. A chance to go back-to-back in the FA Cup. We lose to Tottenham, this time on penalties. In terms of what else happened, we do win the Community Shield 3-0 over City and lose in the Carabao Cup in the 3rd round. But apart from that, I mean, we can still be happy with this final season. That is going to be all 10 seasons done. And I mean, overall, this club has gone on an adventure. It's gone on an adventure of trophy. You have got a total budget of around about 197 million. There's quite a bit of fair net debt, but I've put you in a place now where you don't need to spend for quite a fair few seasons. You look at Leonardo, he's 30 years of age, you've got another 2 years in him, and I mean, even for him, you've got Barcola who can play as backup striker, Yamal could even play there, I believe you could even retrain this winger to play there if you want him to. You've got so many options in this team to the point where, as I said, you don't need to make transfers for, I'd say, guaranteed 1, but I would actually argue 2 more years, and you've got a team that can go on and win absolutely everything. And that's going to be the challenge that I set you. Your challenge is to download this file and try and win every single trophy in the season. I done 5 out of 6. Can you do 6 out of 6? Because you've got the team, you've got the goal scorers. Have you got the FM skills? Prove me wrong. If you have enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.